Hello, welcome to another Board Deck and Dice First Play. Today with Mark. I went the wrong way again. Sometimes it's inverted, sometimes it's not. We are playing Bushido, which is a game that is as much about the setup as the actual game. Basically, you both have an identical set of
Weapons.
6 weapons.
I don't think I picked a very good weapon either for my...
And weapons have different abilities depending on your guard. So I went for this, how do I say it? Otashi. So when I was in high guard, if I boosted, I rolled an additional attack dice. Mid guard, I could store attacks, and low guard, I could use basic cards as a boost, which means nothing to anyone. And then the rest of the game, well, the other main part of the game is the draft, where you're drafting 5 technique cards. You deal out 4, you choose 1 in reverse turn order, then you switch turn order, deal out another 4, so 2 are always discarded. And these have a number of things. On the top right there, you can see the additional dice. Red are attack dice, blue are evade dice, and grey are defense dice. And on the top left is a symbol, and if you play cards of the same symbol, you can use them to boost and get an additional action. So if I was going to do this, I would play them like this, and that would give me an additional dice. You also have an effect on there as well. So what you're doing is, on your turn, you are building your dice pool. So let's say I did that. Let's say I played that there while I was in low guard, and I boosted it. So I'd get 1 of each dice here, grey, white and red. Then I'd get a grey and a blue for my guard. And then I'd have an option to add dice for any rage tokens. Rage tokens can be spent to add a red dice. So let's say I do that, spend that, get a rage token. And that's that. I've got no other dice from my weapon or anything like that. I'd roll all those, and each of these symbols goes as a hit on my opponent's hit tracker. And you'll see it doesn't do an equal amount of damage. So if I do 1 hit, it's potentially going to do 1 damage. 2 hits is going to do 3, 6, 10. And then all these ones are instant death. Your damage starts at 12 on this 12-sided dice. And so then what I'm doing is using my defensive rolls to kind of mitigate what Mark has done to me in this case. So if I'd rolled this, I got 2 dodges, so I can instantly take that down by 2, and then I'd spend any armor tokens from my supply, and these gave me armor tokens for a future go. And any damage I do to Mark, he then has to use his turn to attack me back, hopefully, so I've got something to think about on my go, but also to kind of get rid of the damage on his turn. Any tokens you earn during your go into holding area, and you can only place them out if you have enough room. I have 3 spaces because my weapon allows me 3, Mark's weapon allowed him 2. So on your turn, all you're going to do is play a technique to your thing here, potentially boosted, or guard. Remember, you only have 5 technique cards that you've drafted. If you guard, you move this to another guard, which changes what dice you roll, and what powers you're going to get. You also add a rage token to your holding area, and you pick up all your cards. So guarding, generally, unless you've got a lot of rage tokens to add to it, guarding only gives you 2 dice, a turn where you're only going to roll 2 dice. So the timing of when you guard is really important. Mark, tell us some positives and some negatives, if you have any.
It's quite sort of variable in how the game could go after you sort of set it up, I guess, because like I nearly died on the first round, or I could have done if I didn't roll enough blocks or dodges.
I did that to you on purpose.
Yeah, I feel like you did. And then, so I think did I take 6 damage in the first go, or the second round?
I think you mitigated it, but then you didn't come back at me, and I did a big attack again.
Yes, I sort of did, but I think I got like 3 hits, and you just blocked all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite good because it means it's not like just what cards you pick or just how you use them. It's a bit of both. It's quite nice seeing the hits, like, so you've got your turn to respond, so you know what you've got to do, kind of. So like, if my hits are up there, I know I need to get that down a bit. Whereas if it was down there, I could just attack you a bit more.
You can respond
Whatever.
strategic. You can respond tactically, and you can make a strategic plan, but then you can change it if you've drafted the right cards.
Yeah. The problem I had was I didn't pick the very good cards for what I.
Yeah.
So the most. I had one card that had 3 blue dice on it, which were the dodging ones. So they're the ones you mainly use to get the hits down, which is important. One card had 3 of them on, and then 2 cards had 1 each on.
Okay.
And the other 2 didn't have any on.
Yeah.
And then none of them really had that many red dice.
There is a simple setup which avoids the draft and the choosing of the weapons.
Yeah.
But I played that earlier, and I just thought someone like Mark, who plays a lot now, he'd probably lose the first game, but second game he'd be more into it. We may play again later on. We'll see how we get on. Anything negative?
I guess the grey dice. I mean, it sort of depends on your weapon, maybe, but the grey dice aren't as useful as others, I guess.
I guess if you're playing blue light, you want to be building up a decent amount of armor. If you've got 4 spots, 3 to 4 spots, I
only had 2.
Yeah, that's another thing I wouldn't recommend a first player. Yeah, 3 to 4, you really want to be having that full with armor. There was a couple of times where I didn't have any left and I didn't earn any, and that doesn't just affect your current turn. That affects your upcoming turn.
Yeah, because then you get in the next turn. You can't use until the turn after.
So I think what we're saying is the nuances. This is a game that will reward people who play it with each other a lot.
Yeah.
The
nuances are quite subtle.
Yeah, there's not loads of cards, but there's enough that once you've played it once, you kind of think, next time I want to try and draft those ones or those ones. Yeah. There is already an expansion, which I think I might try and pick up because I've really enjoyed it. It's got more weapons and more technique cards, obviously. There is, as always in these games, a 4-player variant. But I think the negative is... for people who play a lot, the basic game is not going to satisfy you beyond 1 game.
Yeah.
But the other side is you need to probably play it with the same person a few times to get the most out of it. The basic game was quite balanced. I played it with Dan earlier, and we were both down to about 1 health, going back and forth. But there are other variants you could use as well. So.
Yeah.
And you could mess around with drafting. You could draft more, but you pick one and you block one that someone else can't pick or something, do some extra drafts. But I think it makes a positive impression. It's one that I definitely want to delve into deeper. I had a real tough challenge choosing the weapon. I like some of the bigger ones that give you more armour. Like that would give you 4 potential armour tokens, but not as attacking. So
I was going to go for, I think that one. Just because it's very simple powers, you just get an extra dice.
That is the basic one actually. To
be honest, I probably wish I had gone for it. Yeah. Just because it's easier with. Yeah. It kind of suits any cards you've got because you're just getting extra dice, which you have every round. So.
Cool. So that is Bushido from Grey Fox Games. Very impressed with our first play of that, or my first ish play, and we're probably we might even give it another go right now. Who knows? See you next time on Board Deck and Dice.